Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to Padre's Ponderings. And today I got Brother Dave Fisher here with me today. Look here, something wrong with this picture. You got on a short sleeve shirt and I got on a sweater. You a mountain man or something? What's going on here?
I wear what's comfortable.
Well, you grew up in the north or something, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I have thick blood. Yeah.
Penn State?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Penn State won? No, they didn't win this past weekend.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Whoa. But they got a chance coming up though.
Which one?
Don't they play Michigan State, or have they already hit that one?
You know, I'm ashamed to admit that I don't even know.
My goodness.
I don't keep track of the
You're
schedule.
Not an alumni person like you ought to be for them. I thought those guys were rabid up there.
I'm not nearly as faithful as I ought to be a true blue and white bleeding Penn Stater. I should know the schedule by heart, but I don't.
The Lions?
The Nittany Lions, yes, sir.
What kind of lion is a Nittany lion? What is that about?
Well, it's a mountain lion that used to live on Mount Nittany, which is
as in extinct now?
Yes. The farmers killed them all.
Seriously?
Seriously. There used to be mountain lions in Pennsylvania on the mountain range that's right there on the valley, on Happy Valley, where Penn State is.
Happy Valley.
Happy Valley. But the mountain lions...
made it unhappy?
Yes.
Killed them.
The mountain lions were not happy there, and the farmers killed them all.
Seriously?
So our mascot is an extinct animal. Don't think too hard about that. Yeah.
No, there's not much to think about there. But that is the big rivalry. Ohio State, is that the big one, or is it? Or are there other rivalries that are bigger than that?
Penn Staters like to think of Ohio State and Michigan both as rivals, but the jury is out on whether or not those two schools think of Penn State as a rival, because they're mostly concerned about each other. So, of course, the old one is Pittsburgh. The old rivalry is Pitt, Penn State. But that's
because that's in state.
That's in state, right?
Maybe like Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah, that's a backyard one, right?
Yeah.
But Pitt's not, not really a big game anymore.
Now, when you were there, I think I'm correct. You played in the band.
Yes.
And what was your instrument there?
I'm a tuba player.
Of course, you qualify because you're a big guy. You carry the big tuba.
Well, you should have seen. We had a couple of women who marched with us who were like barely 5 feet tall, and they carried the same 50-pound sousaphone.
Seriously?
Yes, sir.
I would not have thought that at all.
They were incredible.
I thought they would have been a piccolo player or clarinet or something like that. No, my.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, did y'all travel around all over with the team?
We did. It was a great opportunity. We traveled to an away game every year, always within the Big Ten. And we would travel to a bowl game if we went to the bowl game. I got to go to 4 bowl games with Penn State. It was great. Saw a lot of the country.
And that was a fun thing. Well, is that a scholarship kind of thing when you're in the band, or that's just because you like to be in the band?
Yeah. It wasn't a scholarship thing for us. The one small exception was I was also a manager, they called it. It was a student officer position that handled all the gear, all the equipment, all the instruments, all the uniforms when we traveled. So we got a little bit of money for doing that.
That sounds like a tough job. That's a big band, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was logistics and for about 320 of us, something like that.
Is that one of the largest bands in the Big Ten? I mean, that sounds like a lot of people in the band.
It's up there, yeah. There were a couple that were bigger. I think Michigan has a bigger band technically,
but not better.
No comment on that. How long do we have?
Well, now I understand that you are an outdoorsman. I saw a picture a little while ago of you with a monster fish.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
Now, who showed you that?
Brother Charlie showed me that.
Charlie showed you. Yeah.
You with a big old redfish, I think he said.
Yeah. He's got me beat. He's caught 3 of those now, and I've only caught 2.
Charlie's pretty fast. Pretty fast. So, but you liking all that?
Oh yeah.
And you're catching these in the surf, right?
Yeah, on the beach.
On the beach. And what are you using for bait for that?
Other fish. Yeah.
What?
Well, you catch a small fish, and then you make that small fish a little bit shorter, and you use that piece to catch the bigger fish.
So what do you use to start out with?
Shrimp. It's like a game of bigger and better. You get some shrimp, and you trade that in for something bigger, and then you trade that in for the 4-foot fish. It's a lot of fun.
That fish was 4 feet long?
Almost.
Whoa. Yeah. Tomorrow it'll be 5 feet long?
Yep. And the next day, 6 feet long.
Keep trading in for something bigger, don't you?
You've met fishermen before, I see.
Keep trading in for something bigger.
That's right.
That's the way it works. Mm-hmm. So tell me, what are you doing here at the church?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Well, I am in a brand new role called the parish chaplain. And my role is to be a pastoral presence with all of the pastoral care ministries of the church, all the prayer teams and the Stephen ministers and the outreach ministries like the food bank and God's Goods, and really to be a presence with some of the ones on the margins of the church community and those who have been put on the margins by illnesses and other needs like that. Try and be a presence with them.
Did you always have a compassionate heart, empathy for others? Were you that way as a child?
I like to think so. I'm not sure that I've always had the self-awareness to know, to be honest. But it really was something that came into my awareness as a sort of a calling just within the last few years in seminary.
And how'd that happen?
Well, I went into seminary not knowing where I was headed, not knowing what kind of ministry I was headed for. A lot of my friends and classmates seemed to know exactly what they were doing. I'm going to go be a pastor of this kind of church. I'm going to be on the mission field in this place. That's wonderful, but I went in without any idea, just trusting that the Lord would show it to me. And last summer, I had finished all my classes at seminary, and the last thing I had was CPE, Clinical Pastoral Education, at the medical center in Lexington. And so I served as a hospital chaplain for 3 months, and I expected it to be the hardest thing. I expected to just be gritting my teeth through it.
Why do you expect that?
I thought if I'm going to be in hospital rooms with people who are in horrible situations, who are in great pain, who are dying, who are with their family members who are dying, I thought it would be one long, the way I described it is, I thought it would be one long wince just all summer. I thought it would just be awful. And as it turned out, I just felt like I belonged there more than any other kind of ministry I've ever been involved with. I felt really called to it and really fulfilled by it. The fact that it was so unexpected and made so little sense really caught my attention.
Wow.
That, okay, this must be something that the Lord's doing.
Now, you went in without knowing. How about your friends who went in and said, "This is what I'm going to do," and they pointed that way? Mm-hmm. Did any of them have their world turned upside down during seminary, or were they just closed to all that?
No, I'd say most people by the end of seminary realized that the reason they went there was to get their world turned upside down. We like to say, I have a master of divinity. We like to say I've been mastered by divinity. When you come out of the program, because no matter how much or how little you go in thinking you know what's up, you learn how much you don't know about what's really happening. So I think a lot of our friends who went in thought they knew and came out with a different direction or a different understanding.
Now, you started in this, you've been working with it a few months now. Mm-hmm. Are you being surprised by anything? Just like that surprised you? It wasn't a wince. That's kind of, wince is a northern word there. But anyway, we'll use it.
What word would you use for that?
Horror.
A horror?
Horror.
Yeah. This is good.
Wince is gentlemanly.
Well, this is a cross-cultural experience for me living down here, so I need to learn these terms.
Yeah.
Horror. What surprised me about
so far what you're doing
so far?
Because I would think you're working in you kind of feel called into it through a hospital kind of setting, but you're not really. There might be incidents in a
Yeah.
hospital here, but this is more in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same kind of situations, but
Yeah. One of the things immediately that surprised me has honestly been the welcome that I've received coming into people's lives, into people's homes. People get used to their clergy and their pastors, and they love their clergy. And I expected to be greeted as a little bit of an outsider when I first showed up. I'd call them up and say, can I come and visit you? Can I come and sit with you? Can I come and pray with you? And honestly, the welcome has been warmer than I expected. People have not said, well, who are you and why do you want to come into my house? They've welcomed me in on the good name.
Why
of
you
it.
reckon that is?
Well, the church community has been it's been a supportive community, I think, and with the name of the Church of the Cross, I pull up to gated communities wearing my name tag, and they go, "Oh, you're with Church of the Cross? Come on in." Say you don't need a pass called in; you can just come on in.
Just come on in.
And that's really been the welcome I've received.
Any negatives about it so far, or things, or maybe cutting edges, places that you were surprised and you said, I need to work on that some?
Yeah,
Might not have been, but
yeah, I think some of it is just learning first, and gathering the history of different ministries that have existed. There have been multiple iterations of certain kinds of ministries here that I've learned about, and under this leader, this thing grew up and it was wonderful and it was Spirit-led, and under this other leader who came on after, this came up over here. So now we have this group that's used to this kind of experience, and we have this group over here, and it's the interaction, to me, it's the interaction of what the Lord has done here, what the Spirit has led, and the human aspects of it, which are mixed, right?
oh yeah.
And the human interpretation of it is mixed. And so learning to really value each perspective and to listen well to each person, and then to really look ahead and say, all right, Lord, what are you doing now? What are you doing next? How can we take what has been here and move into something that's new or something that's current? And that's the challenge. I have a piece of paper written up on my really on the wall in my office in front of me that says, how do we partner with what the Lord is doing and not build something that the Lord doesn't want us to build? So that's the challenge for me, is learning what's been, learning what is, listening to the volunteers and the leaders that are in place, and not trying to tear anything down, but to try to listen and to partner with what the Lord's doing.
Yeah, you have these ministry leaders that we have, they've virtually come from all over the world, and they've had experiences that are built over a lifetime. And they've done amazing things, and now they're bringing that to bear in the Lord's name now, sometimes for the very first time. You said you're working with the food bank? Big operation.
Big operation. Craig has been very gracious with me. He welcomes me and gives me a spot at the front of the line.
Now that's Craig Pelly, the head of he's currently heading it up.
Yes, Craig Pelly. He when I'm there, he allows me to stand right at the front of the line and lift the bags of groceries out and hand them to John.
You're the big winner, aren't you?
Well, I sure am. But he also doesn't give me too hard of a time when I'm not there. He knows that there are days when I won't make it. And there are days when I
Now,
will.
you know what the big project is, the food bank right now?
What's that?
I thought you worked at the food bank.
What you got? I don't want to go in a direction you don't want me to go.
Thanksgiving meals.
Thanksgiving meals are the big project at the food bank right now.
Oh,
And I heard just yesterday, that there's some categories that are no longer needed because it's all been donated.
well, share that with me, because I doesn't have that on my sheet right here.
Uh-oh. Well, here's what
Said
I'm
we
gonna...
need green beans, This is for, what they're trying to do is give all the families that come a Thanksgiving meal. So they're looking for, they run about 300, so they're looking to have enough stuff for 300 Thanksgiving meal. Green beans, French fried onion rings, package or box potatoes, cornbread mix, turkey gravy, evaporated milk, pie filling, cranberry sauce, pie crust mix. And they got mix in bold letters so they don't want you to give the ones that are already made up. So what do they no longer need?
I think you have the updated version.
Okay. Okay. And you know what I thought was neat too, reading this newsletter?
Yeah.
The folks at Carlton River are collecting again. They've been doing this for a number of years now. They got that thing organized over there. Last week, 354 bags of donations total, and 181 of those came from Carlton River. Pretty amazing, isn't it?
That's incredible.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah,
One person came on Saturday morning and brought 30 bags of food.
Wow.
He's from New York City. Filled his Camaro up, it says.
All right.
So Thanksgiving meals. You on it?
Yeah.
All right, what else are you doing with your time?
All I do is lift the bags of groceries
You
out.
just lift them.
That's
You don't
above
ask
my
questions. They don't even let you tell what to put in the bag.
No.
Lift.
The big projects are above my pay grade. I show up and
just lift.
Yep.
Lift and put. Lift and put.
That's right.
So what else are you working on beside Food Bank?
We are working on a morning prayer opportunity. Can I talk about that yet?
Yeah.
We're working on a morning prayer opportunity for the new year that'll be here in this space. We're gonna have an opportunity for people to come together and pray in person one morning a week, and we're really hopeful that that's going to be a good thing, not just for the people who come to be prayed for and to be prayed over, but also just an intercessory prayer time for our community to be lifting up the needs of the
And what day are you
church.
looking on doing that? And what time?
Tuesday morning. We're looking at that on Tuesday morning from about 8:30 to 11, and we'll get that out as we get
Now,
closer.
how does that interface with cross-school traffic? Or it's not for cross-school people.
Right. It could.
They're all working on all that.
Hoping that it'll be okay. Well, if we have a problem with carpool, we'll shift things around a little bit, but we're hoping that it'll be all right to get people in here.
Is that timing so that any folks that are dropping off children across schools could come over and be a part of it or something?
Well, yeah.
Was that in
That'd
part
be
of your
great.
planning?
Well, to be honest, perfectly honest, it was not part of my planning, but I love it. I'd love for it to be open to everybody in the cross community, whether it's the church or the school or both. It'd be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Now tell me about, you don't wear a collar yet.
I don't.
Is that in the office somewhere out there?
Lord willing.
Lord willing.
I believe that I am in the final steps of the process toward being ordained deacon. And so we're waiting on timing for an ordination. Still got to run the background check too. So pray for me. But make it through the background check and the ordination. Should be ordained deacon before too long, and then.
Now, before too long, you think before the end of the year?
To be honest, they haven't given me much of a timeline.
And so when you start getting Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those holiday stuff in there, that everybody's schedule gets crammed, and it's the bishop's schedule.
That's right.
That you got to fit into somewhere in there.
So I've communicated that I would be willing to travel if there might be an opportunity for an ordination that would be a joint service someplace. But I haven't heard anything yet about whether or not that might be.
That's going to happen when it happens.
That's right. That's right.
And don't need to, you got your plate full, and what you're doing now, you don't need a collar for all that.
That's right.
And a
Gotta
collar's
trust
not
the
going to
time.
do a whole lot to enhance. Well, it won't do anything to enhance it, really. I don't think.
That's right.
I think when people get in a difficult situation, it's more the heart of the person they're talking to than in what the person's wearing. So
The collar just communicates the role
that's all.
in a public way.
That's all.
Yeah.
But it doesn't open people's hearts to you. That's one heart to another. And the presence or absence of the collar doesn't enhance that. in a powerful kind of way. It makes a difference, surely. But so, what do you want to ask me about? You've been here for a while now. You were teaching all last year.
Yeah.
You missed the children in that aspect. I mean, you're still involved with them, but
Yeah, I mean, I miss being with the school kids. I don't miss the daily planning of being a teacher. That's
a job, isn't
That's a
it?
special calling.
That's a job.
It's a special calling to be a teacher, day in and day out, every day. What do I want to ask you?
But you enjoyed that part of it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was that's a big difference in the classroom to in a hospital room?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Was that a hard transition for you?
You mean into being a teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the hospital room is more of a one-on-one kind of setting, and then you move into the classroom deal. That's a whole nother.
Oh yeah. Classroom management was that was a quick learning curve, because I was told up front by people who know. I was told by career teachers, you gotta get control quick, because once you set up a culture in that classroom of anything goes, it's hard to get them back.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You can loosen up, but you can't tighten up.
And what grade were you working with?
I was teaching grades 5 through 7.
Middle school.
Yeah.
Not for the faint-hearted.
And my day went descending age from morning to afternoon. So I had 7th grade in the morning, and then it just got a little crazier from there, 6th grade and 5th grade. So I had to learn quickly what my strengths were going to be in that setting. And I spent a lot of time with question and answer, because I wanted to know what they cared about. I wanted to know what they were concerned about. And I communicated better with them when I was responding to questions, when I was responding to what was on their hearts. And so we spent a lot of time praying for what they were concerned about and answering questions about what they were asking and what was coming to the surface for them as we were going through the lessons. So.
Now, your wife's in ministry with you too. Well, she's not a ministry in the pastoral care full that you're in, but what she's working with through his ministry. So talk about that a minute.
She is a licensed professional counselor, and she's working through her supervision time now to be completely there as a licensed therapist. But she's counseling people every day at Cross Christian Counseling Center with Andy and Lauren, and they're all doing great work for the church and for the community.
And there's a demand for it too, isn't it?
Yes, there's definitely a demand for it.
Now, does she work with a certain sector of the population? Does she work with just children, or high school children, or men, or where? Is it divided like that, or
No, it's really not. She will see all ages. There are certain clients who will request a certain kind of counselor, request to see a woman or request to see a man. But she has, as I understand, she sees clients of all ages now, and all different kinds of backgrounds and needs.
Kind of like what you do.
Kind of like? Yeah.
Kind of like what you do. Yeah. And I bet just like you're dealing with folks that are sometimes up against life struggles and stuff like that, she is too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But,
and she's got the expertise to deal with the mental health side of it, which is a whole different ballgame. So,
if I showed you something, would you know what it is?
I think so. We folded a bunch of these in the classroom last year.
That's what you were doing?
Well, part of the time.
So do we know what this is? Tell the people about all this.
Well,
since you're a certified folder from last year.
Yeah. Those tabs, that's the important part. You got to get the tabs right. So this is an Operation Christmas Child box. Gets folded up and handed out and taken home to fill up and sent out to provide Christmas
Did you go on the trip with the children last year?
No, I didn't. I was involved in the packing effort here, getting them all in the trailer, but I didn't go along with them.
Tell them what this is about. What did you tell the children?
Well, this is an opportunity for us to bless children who would not have presents at Christmas time, and also to spread the gospel in the midst of it. So bringing some love and also the message of hope.
And they go all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world.
It's amazing to me how that operation started out so small, and it is massive, just massive, and worldwide.
Yeah.
One person with an idea.
Yeah.
And people can pick up your boxes at all the campuses, worship services, stuff like that. I'm not sure when they got to be in, but they got to be in at some time or another. Do you know when they have to be back?
I don't know the date. I heard at Historic on Sunday that it was a couple weeks.
A couple of weeks.
A couple weeks out. I'm not sure exactly.
They go up to Charlotte around Thanksgiving time, don't they, or maybe right after?
Something like that.
But anyway, it has to happen at a hustle because they got to mail them and get them there for Christmas time. So pick up a box or two and get them in there. And if you can't do a box, go on our webpage and you can just donate money, and somebody else will fill the box for you. And I think the Samaritans First people are the ones who do that themselves, and use some sense about what you're buying. You're buying these things for little children, and it has to fit in the box. We get boxes in every year that are all taped up like that because it wouldn't fit in the box. That's not good.
Got to be able to stack them, right?
Got to be able to go in that box and close down. See, if you got to smash it, sit on it and tape it up and all that, you got too much in there.
That's right.
All right, what else people need to know? Anything else they need to know about you?
No, I don't think so. You told me I could ask you a question. I never did. Can I ask?
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about my hobby, how I like to be out on the beach fishing. Is
it just on the beach that you like? I mean, you don't, because there's no beach in Pennsylvania. Did you fish up there, or is this a new thing?
I fished up there. It was in streams up there. So you got to pick your spots. In
Is it a fly
Pennsylvania, you
fishing,
got streams.
fly fishing thing?
Fly fishing's too smart for me. I was using bait and the spinning reel, but
little cork.
Yeah. Carve it,
No, you didn't do that.
You're changing
you
the
made
subject
your own
on me.
corks?
Well, maybe.
Okay, go. What's what you'll ask?
So, what's your hobby? What do you do? What do you do for fun?
Read.
Read. Not a big game hunter or anything?
No.
Okay.
Never. My son does that. Deer hunting, all that. But I never have been a hunter. Though we had people hunting all around, we rented land out for people to shoot birds and stuff. But no, I never have been a hunter. And I don't think anybody in our family. I mean, my father surely wasn't. I have 4 aunts. None of them were. I suspect they had some children. I know they had some children my son's age that hunted, but our family just wasn't into that. But that's a very southern thing, particularly in rural areas, and we were in a rural area. There's a lot of hunting that goes on.
So you like to read? I know a few weeks ago you said you were reading about baby elephants. What are you reading about these days?
I read all kind of stuff. That's amazing. Right now I'm plowing back through that book that Tim Keller wrote on the Gospel of Mark.
Yeah. Jesus the King?
Jesus the King.
Yeah.
I'm rereading that, and I read it back in the summertime when the school first decided. I think when Nathan first decided they were going to do that at the school. Read through it then and underlined a lot, and so now I'm going back through reading it, and now I'm just going through reading the parts I underlined.
Yeah.
And it makes it faster, but it makes it more cohesive too. So that's what I'm working on right now. Before that, I read a book on missiles. They had a big explosion out there in Iowa in one of those missile silos where the ICBM missiles are out there. I did not realize that there were just many of those silos hidden around out in the Midwest and different parts of the country. And they're still there with these huge ICBM missiles in there. And we have a fellow here in church who worked on all that kind of stuff. But that idea that those missiles had to be serviced on a regular basis, and they have a deterioration factor, and some have been there 25, 30, 40 years now, and so that, and it's scary how powerful those things are.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is one that blew up in the thing.
Oh my gosh! Did it set off all the other ones in there?
Well, there's just one.
Oh,
Just one, but it has multiple warheads on it.
Oh,
and the
man.
warheads didn't go off. What blew up was all that fuel and stuff in there.
Oh, okay.
And that just blew a crater in the ground. And then you got all these toxic fumes going.
Yeah.
There's like a mushroom cloud that goes out all over the place.
Goodness, the containment of that's got to be.
Yeah. And
awful.
it happens just like that. See, and so then how do you respond to that? What do you do with all the people that live? Even though you've got it in a remote, basically a farming area, you still got farmers and
Still
you
got people,
towns and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff, because it isn't like the cloud goes up and it's only going to go out a little way. The fallout of that thing is just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we live in this world of instant communication, and how do you respond to these people that show up that want a story right now, and the people that are critical about the government and missiles, and I mean it's really amazing how diverse the country is and how polarized it is, but it isn't like two poles. There's a pile of poles out there,
Right.
and everybody thinks that the world ought to revolve around them. It's not like there's two anymore.
Yeah.
Oh. So anyway, I love to read those. I reread Goodbye, Mr. Chips. That's a quick read. I reread that about 3 weeks ago now. Just
Moving through.
just go through just whatever you pick up, whatever strikes your interest. I don't read fiction. I'm not into any. Jonathan talks about the Lord of the Rings and who was the young boy, and that's not the Lord of the Rings. Who is the guy with the witches and
Harry Potter?
Yeah, I didn't never read any Harry Potter
Didn't read
stuff.
any Harry Potter?
No, I don't. I like stories about people, but real people, real
Yeah.
people. So,
How many books would you say you reread compared to books you read for the first time? Is it pretty even, or do you?
no. Read for the first time would be. I read far more for the first time than I do reread.
Okay.
But one of the things I really enjoy doing is going back and rereading books that I read for the first time when I was in high school.
Yeah.
See
See how you've changed.
Yeah, because when you read, if you read, like The Tale of Two Cities, you read, and as you're reading along, you see the faces that are there and the scenery and it all takes place in your mind.
It builds in your mind.
It's all there. Well, all that's, you can't imagine something that you hadn't seen before. So your imagination, what you depict as a child in your head, is very different than what you depict as an adult in your head, because you've seen things.
You're using building blocks that you picked up along the way.
Oh, yeah.
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 That's cool.
So I like going back and rereading some of those things. The Scarlet Letter. I'm looking for a copy now of one written. The book was Sinclair Lewis wrote it. It's called Aerosmith, about a young man. Now this is fiction. Named Martin Aerosmith that becomes a doctor, and so I want to go. I read that when I was in the 9th grade, and I want to go back and I got to get a copy of that. I'll have to get Becky to order that for me, but anyway. And they're all one click away now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can even get used copies. So it's. But anyway, I love doing things like that.
That's great.
Because another thing it does too is it brings back memories of when you would read the book.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
The settings and the people around and all that kind of, who the teachers were that were assigning this stuff and all that.
Sometimes you can see the place where you were sitting reading it, right?
Oh, yeah. The Bounty Trilogy, did you ever read that?
No.
Don't even know what I'm talking about?
No, no idea.
Okay.
Who wrote that one?
The Bounty Trilogy, all about Captain Bligh. Mutiny on the Bounty, Pitcairn Island.
Oh, okay. That's ringing a bell, a very faint bell.
Tinkle.
Way back there.
There's three books about it.
Okay.
So it's called the Bounty Trilogy.
I've heard that title.
But I love that because that was a true story. And when they had that mutiny, and that's the first book, is Mutiny on the Bounty, and they put Captain Bligh overboard, an open boat, single sail in the middle, and the crew people, there must have been about 8 or 10 of them that were allied to him, in the South Pacific, put him overboard.
Oh
in
gosh.
just cut him. He sailed that little boat all the way back to England. Longest open voyage at the time. He navigated, sailed that thing back, sailed it into the harbor at Portsmouth, I think.
Oh my gosh.
And then he went to the Admiralty. And then he got in a big ship, and he went back looking for them.
Oh my gosh.
Mutiny in the British Navy was a huge crime.
Oh yeah.
And they took the ship and everything.
Oh man.
And
Now you make me want to go read this book.
You ought to. Seriously, it's amazing because it's true.
Yeah.
They sailed the Bounty to an island, Pitcairn Island. They got off, and they burned the ship because they didn't want anybody to find them. Took off everything that was important, and they burned the ship. And their descendants of them still live on Pitcairn Island right now.
Wow. Learn something new every day.
Yes, sir. But that's a great book for you to read.
Yeah.
There's no big words in it. A Penn State guy can handle it.
I appreciate that.
Not a lot of syllables in there. But the thing, when people were writing those kind of books, they were writing it for people who were going to read. And so you have so much detail and stuff in there. So when you visualize Captain Bligh's cabin, here's what's on the walls and everything. You can draw that picture in your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I was Saturday mornings when I was a child, 3rd, 4th grade, you had this little Silvertone radio. You listen to the Lone Ranger and those guys in there, Man, you can see them.
Yeah.
They're riding across there, a big white horse. You would not have imagined that when silver was 2 blocks of wood being put together by a guy.
Oh yeah.
You didn't see it that way.
Like Monty Python, the 2 halves of the coconut.
No, I don't know that. Monty Python?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I didn't think I missed anything there. Anyway, read the Bounty trilogy.
Yes, sir.
You would enjoy that.
Okay.
Enjoy that.
All right.
I love those kind of things. Anyway, but that's another story. All right, sir, it must be getting late. You got anything you want to say to the people before we go?
Don't think
get
so.
sick so you can come see them?
Whoa.
Don't get sick.
Jeez.
Did you ever get COVID?
I never did.
Me neither. Praise God.
We had COVID in the house, and I never picked it up.
Whoa.
I mean, I still could get it, but never know.
Yeah, it's going around. You get a flu shot?
Yeah, I usually do. I'm always slow in the uptake though, so I'll get it late. But
I'm slow in the uptake too. But Becky's on the uptake.
She's on it. Yeah,
she's on it now. She got hers, so now mine's getting the immediate future. It's getting closer. Getting closer now for sure.
It's your turn.
Anyway, it's a joy to have you here.
Thank you. It's a joy to be here.
Proud of you. See you in church on Sunday. I'm going to be here this weekend at Cross Point. The other fellows around, be in church somewhere. That's the point. Be in church somewhere. If you can't, then get online with us. And so much happening. Just be sure you're involved in prayers and Bible study and in worship and in serving other people. Don't forget about the food bank and Thanksgiving meals that they're putting together for that. Jonathan's teaching tomorrow night, Historic Campus. Part 3 of the teaching on the parables. Each is disconnected, so you hadn't got to, you'll be fine coming tomorrow night if you haven't been at the first 2. Supper's at 6:15. If you're coming for supper, you need to sign up ahead of time online and pay online $5. And then come for the supper, 6:15, Parish Hall. Teaching starts at 7. You don't have to sign up for the teaching. Do the supper, it's expected that you'll stay for the teaching. Anything else you want to add? Is that covered?
Loved getting to meet a whole bunch of people so far, and if I haven't met you yet, I'm looking forward to it.
Blessings. God loves you, so do I. Go in peace and love and serve the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Whoa, good man, good man.